All right. Hello. Hope all is well. This is Zoe, and I am with four DuPage residents, DuPage County residents, and they are going to share their stories. Some of these people, Miss Jackie, Miss Walker, yes, you have seen. Oh, and George has been in Cook County board meetings. You've seen Ms. Jackie protest. She has been protesting about the corruption, the corrupt judges in DuPage County. That's how I met Ms. Sample, because of all of the um, civil rights and amendments that were being broken in DuPage County. And when I did my first Red Hour, um, Sheriff James Mendricks actually came to that Red Hour, and that was at Miss Jackie's house. So I'm gonna let them speak about their stories and what's going on in DuPage County that you guys may not be aware of.
Hi, my name is Latanya Walker, and I'm here. Me and my son Roy. I'm going to talk to you all today about the complaints I had about my civil rights violations. How 6 to 8 officers came into my home. They assaulted me. They beat my son Roy unconscious. These officers, they fought us around my other children. My daughter, who has epilepsy and cerebral palsy. One of the officers stated that I had hot boiling oil on the stove. I have all that. And most importantly, what I did was I got my transcript, I got my whole transcript so everyone could see. I have it outlined with the officer's name and everything, according to what they did and how they lied on the oath and things like that. So I'm just gonna just name the officers off to you all. So I'm go with Officer Adam Bruce. Adam Bruce was the officer with the body cam. The body camera he had was defective. Investigator Dirk Olick. Olick was the officer or investigator for DuPage County State's Attorney Office. He testified under oath that me and him had a conversation, a whole conversation about my son. He's a prime suspect that they were investigating. He gave my son name. He gave an alias name for my son. And then he turned around and we got 6 to 8 officers to come back to my home.
What was the charge? What was they trying to charge?
They had a search warrant for child pornography and criminal sexual assault. Um, the warrant was, it says child pornography in violation of 720 ILCS, criminal sexual assault in violation of 720 ILCS, criminal sexual abuse in violation of 720 ILCS, and an attempt to commit these offenses in violation of 720 ILCS 58-4.
Do you want Roy to explain what happened? Roy, do you feel comfortable with talking about that? What led to that search warrant?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Roy. So what led up to that search warrant was basically I had met this girl online and we were both minors at the time. We didn't know we could consent. So we were sending new pictures basically back and forth on Snapchat until there was a day that we said we were gonna meet up and go have sex. So when that day came, we met up, we had sex. Then when I tried to reach back out to the girl, I found out that I was blocked by her and I couldn't get in contact with her. So I thought, oh, what is this? And then I would say a month later, that's when the police came.
Yeah, this was two 14-year-olds at the time. And yeah, that's illegal to send pictures, and he acknowledged that. You acknowledged that.
Yeah.
But they were 14
Yeah,
years
there we
old.
are. Didn't know. I didn't know.
Mhm. And I just
So
want,
that's what led to that search warrant.
yeah. And I just want to address what Mendricks was saying when he was like, I'm a whole godly man and we persecute, arrest, convict, in the
Right.
beginning of his statement. And then he also stated like, we're gonna get you for a criminal, offense and things like that, criminal sexual, And I said to myself, I'm like, my son was never charged for that. According to Dirk Orlick testimony, which is the investigator that showed up to my house. And when he came, He also, when he came with the search warrant, there was no one name on the search warrant. So I couldn't understand the fact that you lied under oath, saying that me and you had this whole conversation. You told me to get an attorney. You needed my son for an investigation. You said not only did you name my son first and last name, but his alias, and you said you wanted his cell phone. But when you came to my home, you ended up lying, told me you want my cell phone. So that's what made me afraid. And I'm like, 2 men at my door, I don't know what's going on. And this wasn't the first time he showed up. It was the first time he showed up, he was with a man, in plain clothes. The second time, that's when the 6 to 8 officers came and they did the fatal funnel.
Were they trying to put like a like make him like a registered sex offender
Correct.
at 14?
At 14. They never knew his name. His name, they never knew your age. They never knew his age. When they beat him unconscious and took him to the hospital, they kept telling him to say he was 19.
So what led to the fight? What was the whole purpose of them putting their hands on you? Like what
I told my children to go Facebook Live. When they all came in doing the fatal funnel, they forced themselves in. So when they did the fatal funnel on us, I said, go Facebook Live, go Facebook Live. So by me saying go Facebook Live, they was after our phones because none of them had body cameras. None of them had body cameras. I have pictures of all the officers, every last one of them. Body cameras, no badges. I mean,
That's Nick Liberio, right?
yeah, this right here is Nick Liberio here. This is brother Vince Liberio.
And they're DuPage County
Investigate. This is Nick. I'm a little nervous. This other officer, this is Dirk Old. And as you can see, his badge is turned around. So I don't know his name or anything. So when I did question him about what are your names, give me your badges, everybody just, turned their head like, we ain't doing that. So the next officer or investigator on this paper, sorry again, he had no body cam. He had police vest. I found out his name was Greg Keeble. I had found all this information out after I had went to court and they stated their names. So I started putting the names with what they had done to my son. This man and Officer Nick beat him unconscious. He had him in a chokehold. Nick had him in the chokehold, and Keebler had his knees pinning him down. Nick had took his head, slammed it on the floor. Then he slammed it in the dog bowl. And my son, that's when he went unconscious. Yeah.
So they're supposed to have body cam.
You know something? I don't know what's going on in Dupage County. Dupage County says investigators that work for the state's attorney don't have to wear them. So that's why they went to Lombard and got Officer Bruce from Lombard. This is what they said. So when they went and got Officer Bruce, he had a defective body camera. So this been going on for quite some time. And when he testified under oath, he said, my lawyer had asked him, well, where is your radio? When Roy went unconscious and what's that man, Nicholas told you to contact the paramedics, he said, my radio is on my chest, in the middle of the chest. So he said, well, where's your body camera? Oh, it's underneath it. So he said, well, are there any obstructions? He said, yeah. When I go for my radio, I cover my body cam. So he knew all that time that during his investigations, they would all go get him because they knew that could nobody see what was going on. And that was also he testified to when we was in court.
Okay. So were you guys able to file a lawsuit?
I filed a lawsuit because prior to me not doing it, I didn't have no understanding until I met Jackie. And this young man back then, I didn't know what to do from there because I would go and, make complaints and things like that, but no one would answer.
But you did file a complaint at the state's attorney's office the next day.
That's
So yeah, what day was that?
that was December. Oh yeah, let me tell you about that. Very next day, they came in my home on 12/19/23.
Okay.
I went the very next day, which was 12/20/2023, to file my complaint, and I have that as well.
The Attorney General, Colorado.
No, not Attorney General. I went to the state's
Okay,
attorney in Dupage County. Correct. When I had filed that, 36 days later, they put an arrest warrant on me.
For what?
They said I battered the officers, all three of them, Nick, Vest, and Keebler, and also obstruction to all three officers.
So you had to do you went to get a lawyer?
When I went to court, I was getting things in the mail.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it, I said, let me go down here and see what's going on. So when I went to DuPage County, they looked up everything. They said, yeah, you got a warrant for your arrest. So I hurried up and filled out a paper. I have that too, to quash the warrant. Once I did that, they gave me a court date. She didn't tell me that, it's quashed or anything. She said, you got to go to court on February the 5th.
Right.
So when I went to court on February 5th, that's when they locked me up in court and put me in jail and fingerprinted me. And then they let me out.
And you never had a record or
no criminal record whatsoever. Me or Roy, none of my children never had any type of criminal history.
It's like, you gotta tell them about his trip to the hospital and, that he never had an attorney when they questioned him and how they treated him. Well, he should tell them.
Yeah, you tell them.
So, when they put me in the ambulance, I requested to see my mom. They did not let my mom in the ambulance, so that had me scared. Like what was they gonna do to me? And when they took me to the hospital, they had me handcuffed to the bed. They were asking me what's my name. They were saying, "Are you 19? You're 19. Oh, you look 21." And they were guessing my age until they called my sister. And when they called my sister basically said he doesn't want to talk to y'all right now. And my sister gave them my name and my age. And when she told them my age, like all the nurses and officers had walked out of the room. And once that happened, my mom heard my mom come in, and then she came in the room and she gave me a hug. And basically, one of the officers came back in, and they were like, "We need to transfer you," but I still wasn't talking to the officer because I wasn't comfortable with the officer at that time. I just wanted my mom. I just wanted to be with my mom. And basically, he took me to the back, and it was like he took like the bed. It was movable. He took the bed to like a far exit, and he got a wheelchair, and like officers, they helped me and put me in the wheelchair because I mean I couldn't really move as well. They had three officers help me. They pushed me to the far exit. I kept asking, "Where's my mom?" And I want to see my mom. And they said your mom's gonna be updated, and they said that she knows where you're going. When my mom really didn't know where I was going. And basically they helped me up out of the wheelchair and had three other officers shove me in the car, and basically I blacked out again in the police car. And that's when I woke up and we were driving on the road, and we got to like a police station, the Lombard police station. And I kept asking to see my mom. I was like, please, I just want to see my mom. And I didn't feel comfortable getting out of the police car because I didn't know what they were gonna do to me after just getting beat up. So they took me into like a room. They made me sit in a room for like 45 minutes. They were questioning me about like who are you? You're 19, what's your age? But I didn't feel
They
comfortable.
just kept trying to push you that you were an adult.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to put that
Child.
that on her and register him as a sex offender.
Yes.
At that age.
Yes.
Even though she was 14, he was 14, they were kids.
Mhm.
They, back in the day we didn't have that, but we didn't have phones, but something innocent they didn't know. It was consensual sex, even though you ain't supposed to be having no sex at that age. But
Mhm.
you try to mess up his life
Correct.
on that. Okay.
It gets real. It gets much more wicked.
And they took me into like a low, like where like the jail cells and stuff, where they put my fingerprints in like this computer machine. They took my fingerprints, then they put me back in the room for 45 minutes again. Then a lady came and got me, and she was basically like, "Come on, you need to go." And I was like, "I don't want to go. I want to go with my mom." And it was like, "Your mom isn't here." So, but turns out my mom was there, and they were looking for me. My sister, my mom, they was there. They were looking for me. So they took me out the back of like some police garage. Then I kept asking for my mom, and basically they were three officers had came and they pushed me into the other car, and I was in the back of the cop car crying like, "Where's my mom?" And basically it was a female officer and the other male officer, and they wasn't telling me where I was going. So we drove out for 40 minutes. So in my head I'm thinking they were going to take me out to like a cemetery and shoot me. That's what I thought they were going to do. Because we were driving for 40 minutes at night, and I kept asking, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom?" And they just wasn't saying anything to me. And finally, once we got to the King County Detention Center, that's when they said, "Oh, you're gonna have to see a judge the next morning." So I was like, "Well, y'all did not tell me this. Y'all didn't tell me I was gonna be staying the night here." I was scared. And once they brought me in, they booked me into the detention center. I called my mom, and she told me everything was gonna be okay. Then I was hungry. I asked for some food. The lady, she gave me apple juice. She gave me only some apple juice and a skinny wool blanket. And I asked for a Bible, and they gave me that before I had to go to sleep in the jail cell.
Were you like in the juvenile part?
Yeah, I was in the
Okay.
juvenile court.
Just wanna make sure. Okay.
And
That's great.
yeah, it is. And I just want to say, when I had reached out to what are these people names? The state's attorney in Dupage County. Yeah,
What's his name? Her?
Berlin's office.
Robert Berlin?
Yeah.
Borland?
Mm-hmm.
Berlin?
Murray Bernard sent me a letter back. He said, "We read your 5-page complaint." He said, "But I'm just gonna break it down to you." He just basically said that everything they did to us was reasonable, necessary, and proportionate. And then they said the peace officers used the force in making an arrest, but there was no arrest made on me.
Right.
So, that's what I'm saying. When they did the fatal funnel, and I didn't know, when officers clump all up together and they bust in your house, I mean, I'm like, okay, so you saying that was necessary. And, I just couldn't believe the response that they gave me. Like, we did what we did.
Well,
you know?
they already had, they were coming to get some predator,
Yes.
and that's what they were gonna, it was already made up in their mind, they were gonna continue to push this as him being this predator
Yes.
and all this thing, and that's
Yes.
what they.
But who suggested he should go to the hospital? This is the
Oh.
interesting part of it. They beat him unconscious. He couldn't even walk out by himself. So who recognized that he needed to go to the hospital?
Officer, what's his name? Nicholas
Yeah.
Liberio. Nicholas Liberio. And he has a history of assaulting people.
Because I'm gonna tell my story about Nick Furio. Before I even met him,
Yeah.
do this, I had an incident with Nick Furio.
Yeah.
I had filed a police report against him.
Yeah.
George too.
Yeah. And here's it go right here. He has 1, 2, 3, I believe it's 4 of them, because a lady in Naperville sued him as well. And yeah, it's 4 of them. He had 4 lawsuits against him. Yeah.
So he has a pattern of
Yeah.
assaulting people.
Mm-hmm. He has a pattern.
How long he's been on the force?
Well, all I know is this one's been since what? 2000, this say 2009. Yeah, so he been there for quite some time. He been there for.
So do you have a record now?
What, let me tell you about that part. So my attorney was scared. I mean, when he came to court, he just kept saying, "I can't win the case. I can't win the case." My attorney was an African American. He said, "I can't win the case." He said, "Just tell your son to plead guilty, but I'm gonna fight for you. Just tell him to plead guilty." So I was under the impression like, okay, like, I guess since he is a juvenile, they'll seal his record.
What?
But when I later found out, when he did plead, I later found out, I told him, I said, I would like my case file to see what's in their record because they're trying to cover up the child pornography from beating us up and things like
Right.
that. So he wouldn't even respond. He been out the office for what, 2-3 months now.
You know who you mind sharing who that attorney is?
Yeah, his name is Ahmed Kasoko.
Okay, African.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
African, real African American.
yeah. And you know, and I was just like, this is awful. But when I started, when me and Jackie got together and we started going before the state's attorney, the sheriff's office, and things like that, he called me. He called me, but I didn't answer the phone. And the reason why I didn't answer the phone was because it was too close to me filing my lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how it is. Everybody started calling you saying, okay, let me put this in her ear, put this in her ear, or either say, make her stop doing what she's doing.
After we start doing those police reports.
Yes, yes,
We start.
yes.
And all of a sudden he calls you.
Speaking out on Facebook.
Mhm.
Now your attorney wants to talk to you.
Exactly.
Because he works for Dupage County.
Exactly.
Right.
He's gotta keep you in control, keep you in check.
Correct.
For Dupage County.
Correct.
Okay. Sounds about corrupt.
Yeah, he works with the people that have the slave owner mentality.
Yes.
There's a lot of slave owner
He's
mentality
a house
still going on.
Yes.
Yeah, he would be the house Negro, that's what they call him. Right?
House Negro, yeah.
Yeah,
We the field Negro.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get us the
And
freedom.
I just want to say one more thing about the judge.
Yes.
The judge, her name is Jill O.T. She told me, she said, by me looking at this, the evidence and things like that, she said it was my fault that all this happened. She said, it's your fault that all this chaos happened. Oh, I got that. As you know,
Why
as
did you say it was your fault?
because I was too loud. She said I was too loud.
You were saying go Facebook Live.
Right. Yeah. And she told me, she said, I don't like
just to let them just beat my son constantly like y'all usually do.
Exactly.
Other people, other kids too.
Exactly.
But yeah, like
Mhm.
yeah, that's why we gotta remove these judges.
Yes. And then when I went and did my appeals, the state's attorney, her name was Miss Miller. When I went to put my appeal in and I went before the court, she told the judge, she was like, I don't know what she doing that for. So, you know, I'm like, they really want respect, but look how they try to disrespect us. You know, and it's terrible. It's really it's terrible. And I also would like to state this one too. The last thing about the body cam.
Mm-hmm.
When I had went to court with my attorney at the time, that's when he wasn't scared. He had asked for the body cam footage. The state replied, oh, well, we don't have it right now. And the judge said, why don't you have it? You know, did you order the body cam footage? She said, we're having technical difficulties. In other words, something wrong with the body cam. It was something wrong with that body cam all during the investigation. So they go to get this man from Lombard, the police, and take him to every investigation they go to so they can cover whatever it is they're doing.
And so what's his name again?
Officer Bruce Adams.
Officer Bruce Adams.
And
From Lombard.
Yes.
Sheriff James Mendrake won't allow her to file a police report against these investigators.
And have you reached out to Sheriff Jim Mendrick?
Oh yeah, we was at the office.
3 times in 1 week.
Yeah.
Like, did you talk to him or did you talk to
No,
the sheriff?
his officers had came out
His officers
and
came.
they had told us that they're not taking no more complaints from us. Well, they're not taking any complaints.
Any more police reports.
Right.
Any more from y'all?
Correct.
Yeah, they're not taking any more police reports from us.
From us.
Okay.
They're not.
What happens,
No matter what happened,
Correct.
anything, and they're not taking.
nothing from
No.
us. Okay. Okay.
At all.
So going back to his record,
Mhm.
so is it sealed?
It's, you know, when this get out, I believe they gonna do something. I don't know because tomorrow I'm gonna go up there and put a motion in to.
Yeah, because it needs to be sealed now, and I'm saying that because when I was from 17 to 21, New York State, all my stuff that I've done,
Mhm.
because I've been locked up in prison, I really did it. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like 17, 18. All of it is sealed.
Mhm.
No matter anybody go look, they can never look at my past from 17 to 21.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm very adamant to see if they're going to seal his case.
You know something, and another thing, I'm sort of kind of scared because it's like I keep getting all these phone calls from anonymous numbers and things like that. And I know about him being on what they call it, supervision. They got me on probation.
Well, y'all on
He's on supervision, I'm on
how
probation.
long you on probation and supervision?
Yeah, they put me on probation for a whole year. They charged me with 3 obstructions. They dropped the battery. Yeah, and they charged me they gave me 150 hours.
This Dupage County?
Yeah, they gave me 150 hours of community service, in which that's a violation because community service only go up to 100, and $1,000 fine.
Something is so wrong with this, they were beaten, and so to cover it up, they're gonna charge them
You know, charge.
Yeah,
to cover up the crime.
And how long you on supervision for?
A year.
A year.
hmm
So what happened to the other girl? So like what the girl who
she white. She gone in the wind. She's
okay,
white.
so that's all it was. I just need to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't even think I even asked about that.
I'm gonna ask that.
She's white.
Lesson learned.
Mhm.
Oh, big time.
All right.
So this is how they treat the 14-year-old autistic kid
Yeah.
in Page County that's black.
Yeah.
If he were not black,
Yeah.
do you think they would have handled an autistic kid in this manner?
Not at all.
No.
If he was just white boy that was trading his pictures with a white girl or a black girl,
True.
they would have been thrown out. They would have all their kids.
You know, so one thing,
Yes.
if they were white, if this family right here were white,
We wouldn't be right here.
we will no, exactly. But at the same time, the way they handled that investigation, it would have been more so of a let's go talk to their parents.
Mhm.
Something like that. They're not coming in directly with a warrant, a search warrant. You know what I'm saying? No, that's
But what happened was the girl lied too.
Yeah.
The girl lied and said that he was older than what he was,
Mhm.
and they were going off that story.
Yes.
But it goes back to that mother
Mhm.
and that girl who lied to her mother and said that he was older than what he was, and they went with that, and they just kept going because they're racist. But that's what she needs to be charged too, because she lied.
Yeah.
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 Why is it that she has no accountability?
Exactly.
None of this at all.
Especially the messages that she sent to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messages alone.
Have you saved those?
Yeah. We have those. I'm
Yeah.
going to show
I
that.
would say because this it gives lawsuit.
And we don't mention her name, but
Yeah.
the messages that she sent to him, she should be charged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She should be charged. And another thing, if Ms. Walker had put her hands on any of those investigators, do you think they would have waited 36 days to charge her?
No.
Not at all.
So they charge George right away, he'll get to his story, but they wait 36 days to come up with a story to cover up their criminal actions
Yeah.
and then throw a charge on her. So yeah, we need some legal help so that their records can be clean. Their
Yes.
records need to be wiped out.
Yeah, they locked out.
That's unfair.
And it was so, it took Miss Sample to tell me how serious it was when Officer, that's why I said I got some copies.
That's
Officer
good.
Nick Liberio, where he said at the time the burner was on and there was a pot of hot oil. And he was like, which also concerned me because I got a very combative, uncooperative defendant as well as her son. So when I had told Miss Sample this, she was like, do you know the mindset that they're in? And I didn't know, but it took me back to Sonia Macy,
Yeah.
when she was at the stove. And I was like, yeah,
Yep.
So we got walking while black, driving while black, cooking while black, but she wasn't cooking.
at all. And there was nothing on the stove.
Man. Yeah. This is just
You guys.
it's not surprising though.
Described you on this witness stand.
Oh my goodness, Nicholas Liberio everybody described me as the female wearing I had on a blue jean, white gym shoes. He described me, he said, female black
over there.
in the record. Yeah. And I was like, wow, okay. Okay, I see where this is going.
Right.
So, I just,
That's the mindset.
yeah,
There's some,
yeah.
state's attorney's office,
Yeah.
sheriff's office, the judiciary, that is their mindset.
Yes.
The Wheaton Police Department. that's
Wheaton
their-
Police Department.
Yes. And also,
Listen,
and I just want to let you know that also in my transcript is when they did my testimony. I told them, don't touch me. Don't touch me. And that's what he had told them when they first came in. Don't put your hands on my mom. And it even states in the transcript, they was having audio problems. So they didn't want to hear that he said when they came in, don't touch my mom.
right.
They blocked that out. That's why they were saying they had technical difficulties. Because you heard
You have to tell her why he was saying that. What happened?
when they forced their way in with the fatal funnel,
Mhm.
they pushed me out the way. And then that's when my son Roy said, don't touch my mom. You're not supposed to put your hands on her. And they persistently tried to grab me. They tried to grab my other son's phone.
Punch in the chest as well.
Oh, you want to go to the punch in the chest? Yeah. After they had beat Roy unconscious, I was standing before Vince Liberio. And when I was standing before him, my head was turned. And as my head was turned, I turned back. He did like this. He had his fist like this. And he hit me right in my chest.
Mhm.
And I went down and I started going in circles. I started blacking out because I couldn't breathe. And he was just unconscious. But me and my other son that was there, we kept telling him, he was telling one of the officers, let my mom out, she can't breathe. And then one of them was like, oh, she can't breathe? She can't breathe, And it was, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. And when the ambulance came, they got him. But when I tried to go with him, they wouldn't allow me. They would not allow me to go. So my kids had to take me to the hospital. And I also have that too, because when we went to the hospital, Good Samaritan Hospital, they had me in a room and I didn't know he was even there, but they had me in a room. When I was in the room, the nurse said, what happened to you? I said, the officer punched me in my chest. She looked at me, she said, can you please repeat that? I said, the officer punched me in my chest because I was still clutching my chest and I couldn't breathe. And I'm on a butyral. And she jumped up, she cut the monitor off because she had the monitor on me. She cut it off and she left out the room and she didn't come back. So I'm like, what is going on? It was like they was conspiring. Yeah, So
Right.
it was a bad situation.
Man. Well, what do you want? Well, Sheriff Mendrix, he's running for the governor, the Illinois governor, 2026. You have any words?
Yeah, I just want Sheriff Mendrix to know that I don't think you're going to be fair, especially to people of color. I don't even think you answered Jessica questions when she talked about how properties are being snatched, Miss Samples. I don't agree with how you treated George, and you said his case is baseless. I just don't believe that you're a good example, or you said you're a godly man. Godly people follow after righteous and justice, and I don't think you're the one for the job.
You have anything to say? Well, we're going to hopefully we can work on getting your, and first of all, it needs to be dropped. It should have been a warning. You know what I'm saying? And y'all were kids, needs to be dropped. But also make sure that you won't have no issues if you plan on going to college or plan on getting a certain job, because that right there, that's a serious charge for something that it was consensual at the end of the day, and y'all were both kids, and she's going to deal with her karma, whoever the young girl is and the mother, but she probably come from a racist family,
Mm-hmm.
probably found out that you were black, and they went off the hinges, and she was scared. You know, what I'm not saying anything about her, but she probably was scared and probably went out and lied. You know, it could be a whole bunch of scenarios, but this just goes to let people know that racism is still here, and it may not be as it's not as big as what it used to be, but it's out here, and it's definitely out here in these small counties because I come from a small county, Albany County. So I definitely understand they used to, I mean, pick with me, find anything until my mother moved to New York City because I was gonna stay on parole for the rest of my life if I was gonna still be in that small county. So so I get it. I definitely understand. I know that small town mentality and that racist mentality. Well, thank you for your story and with the 400 people that are watching. Hopefully, uh, people who are supportive of Mendrix, they can hear these are residents in Dupage, and um, it's plenty of more, I'm pretty sure, but these are four, and they've been out here vocal, especially Miss Jackie. Jackie, and already know the corruption in Cook County. And the judges. The judges are corrupt everywhere. So in Illinois, and if you're not willing to take the judges down, then there's really no point in you being in office.
And, I want to say something else about Windrick. When he talks about their case, he makes references to like, we're not gonna deal with pornography and sex crimes. He's talking like you got an adult sending something to a kid referring to them. He doesn't tell the whole story. He doesn't tell the truth. He doesn't say it was two 14-year-olds that were consenting. And yeah, they both did something wrong, but both did something wrong.
Correct.
And yet the black boy went through hell being beaten and now got a record. And the white girl is just gotten off, but he doesn't talk and tell the whole truth. So that bothers me that he's running for governor and he's just using this type of deception to discredit them. That's disturbing.
Yeah.
George.
George neck.
Well, okay, you know,
Just sit right here. I'm okay.
when it comes to me, for the most part, I have experienced the racism and the corruption firsthand. Coming from James Mendrick and his department, it is out of control. I've been, I'll tell you about how I came to this conclusion about the racism and everything out there in that county. Firstly, that county is a part of what used to be a sundown county, where if you were black or anything like that, you had to be back in Chicago or somewhere before the sun went down.
DuPage County.
DuPage County, yes.
Okay.
Now, one day I'm going into the DuPage County Court building to speak with an attorney, about some things that was in my cell phone, a video. I get to the security, and at that point they stopped me. They said, "Okay, we don't allow cell phones in the building." So, it no big deal for me. Like they tried to make it out, but at that time, the white officer to my left, he said to me, he says, "Hey, listen, take your cell phones, take them to the car, go throw them in the trash, whatever you're gonna do with them. Just they ain't coming in here, And of course, that wouldn't sit right with anybody, to be addressed like that. And I hadn't had any conflict with them at that time. You know what I mean?
Right.
This all happened in less than 1 minute. So as I gather my things, I want to show you the video too. It's only like
Oh yeah.
oh, okay, I can show it.
Yeah, this is you. Look what y'all need to do.
I'm sure. This is something that happened.
You might got to bring it up and put it over here, but yeah, no, something like that. Have people know, or if you can email it. How is it long?
No, not really. I can show you just the part.
Oh, yeah, I can go to you. Hold on. I can go.
Okay. Well,
And then
okay.
kind of talk me through.
Now this is the part that Mendrick yesterday or the other day when you was talking to Mendrick, he mentioned that my case was baseless, or my accusations were baseless and stuff like that. He said that they handled this situation accordingly and everything. Now, what actually happened was when I came through, I started to leave. You know, I did call the officer an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I
Freedom
felt
of
like.
speech.
Freedom of speech, and that's what I felt like he was being.
Yeah.
You know, as I was walking out,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "What the fuck did you say to me?" And I stopped, and I stopped and I addressed him. I said, "Listen, something wrong with your ears? You can't hear?" You
Right.
know, and then we started arguing basically.
Right.
Okay, now at this point right here, you're gonna see the part that Mendrick failed to mention anything about. And I got it in slow motion on here. So you can see what this officer is gonna do with my legal documents that I got with me. He take it
He threw it.
and he throw it up in the air, you know.
And then look, his body.
Well, yeah. Well, it's more to it.
Yeah,
but I
that's
had that part cut out. You know what I mean? But I can. Okay, I gotta get back to this one right here. Okay. This is how from the time I came in there. Okay. And then I'm minding my business. You know, he's telling me right now, right here, he's telling me you can't bring the cell phones in there. You know what I'm saying? My coat coming through. This is the middle of winter.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm grabbing my stuff and putting it on. And then you finna see him. Just pay attention to his actions. You're gonna see his hand tell me, uh, you're gonna see his hand tell me, yeah, no. What he said was, just take it and throw it in the trash.
You throw what, your phone in the
Yeah,
trash?
throw my phone in the trash. You know what I'm saying? That's when I mean, I'm stopped dead cold hearing what he's saying. I'm like,
Right.
did he really just say that? I continue putting my coat on, and you're gonna see me grab my things, and I'm gonna start heading out toward the exit. Until and just you know, when there is no audio, you gotta pay attention to the body language, the mannerisms, everything. That's what's gonna speak. You know what I mean? It's really going in real slow motion. I got
Pull your pants
a
up.
real time version, but I slowed it down so it could be seen, you know, as it is. I'm grabbing my bags and I'm heading out the door, you know, and that's when and you're gonna see him walk towards me. This okay. Well, I got a video for you. I don't worry about it, but I can fix telling you.
Yeah, but you sure I saw the first when he first threw the papers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the main.
Yeah. Yes, he did. That is what is called a battery in Illinois. You know, it is along with the hate crime. Now, I didn't get into that part yet. You know, with the paper. Now, we did a deposition with this officer.
Right.
This officer, Deputy Anthony Egan.
Anthony
Okay.
Egan.
Anthony Egan.
That's
him. That's
the one who threw your paper.
through my paper. You know,
Mhm.
we did a deposition with him. So in the deposition, he admitted that he told me to get is profanity.
Yes.
He said, get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He admitted to that. And under we was in a deposition.
Okay.
Okay. But he denied using the word nigger at the same time. Right at the end of it. He said, get the fuck out of here, nigger. To me, But he just said in his deposition, he told him, get the fuck out of here. Okay.
You forgot the nigga part.
Yeah, he of course.
Yeah.
Now, just for the record, I have been in situations like this with tyrant officers like this before.
Right.
If you can look it up. Matter of fact, I got it pulled up here on my phone. Can I show you?
Yeah.
It's a Channel 2 news story that they had caught the officers on camera calling us niggas.
Dave Savini covered it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and Bill Dave Savini did a can I
Yeah, give it to me. I can see it all. Dupage is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dupage is racist, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Dupage County racist. I think they forgot to add that part.
Yeah, you know, this actually wasn't in Dupage. This is out in the suburbs. This is this Kane County
Okay.
right here. You know,
It's Kane County.
yeah, this Kane.
This is the second time I heard Kane because they had him in Kane.
Suburban man says police officers
Let me see.
targeted and
Let me
harassed him
start.
using racial
Where
slurs.
do I put it at? Or
It happened again. A suburban man says police officers twice targeted and harassed him using racial slurs, even a bogus arrest. CBS 2's Dave Savini is here with the investigation. Dave.
Rob, we first told you about George Taylor 4 years ago. It showed you police dash cam video that led to disciplinary action within the police department involved. Now another run-in with the same police department and same officers, and once again, was all caught on video. You are watching dash cam video of George Taylor allegedly being roughed up and handcuffed for resisting arrest by Montgomery police officers. This 2014 incident was his second run-in with them to be caught on camera.
same police department, same officers.
The first was back in 2009 during a traffic stop with his then girlfriend and children, which was also caught on dash cam video.
He called us a bunch of
Racially charged words were recorded then, which led to a 3-day suspension for one officer and an out-of-court financial settlement by the village. Taylor says the promise to, quote, make up for it next time was kept during the most recent run-in with the same officers. He says he walked outside to see what was happening with his girlfriend, her son, and police. Watch as police approach him and take him down to the ground.
Now they got you? They got me. And now he's gonna grab me by the neck, throw me to the ground on my head, right here. Let me see. He kicked me right in my head. That's when he used the racial slur. I had a tooth knocked out. I had a bruise on the right side of my head.
It's crystal clear retaliation. Michael Schmiggy, Taylor's lawyer, filed a federal lawsuit against the Montgomery police.
I don't think these officers were counting on the fact that it was all going to be captured on videotape the second time around as well.
That's because this dash cam didn't come from a Montgomery police car. It came from an assisting agency, Kendall County Sheriff's dashboard cam. The two investigators went to Montgomery, but no one at the police department would talk on camera. Court records show the judge handling the recent resisting charge did not believe police.
Fortunately, I had a fair judge.
The judge, after repeatedly watching the video, disputed police claims that Taylor was yelling and agitated, that he pulled away from police. And the judge noted that only 6 seconds passed from when police approached Taylor and asked his name to when they had him on the ground. 6 seconds.
If I didn't have that video, I would have been convicted.
The judge found Taylor not guilty. He has an ongoing federal lawsuit against Montgomery police for this latest arrest, and Taylor has moved out of that village. The Montgomery police chief said he could not comment on pending litigation. Rob, Taylor believes there's more video out there. We've also put a request in and have not heard back yet.
Wow. Thank God that the video was there.
I think that in the suburbs area, especially in Page, they target black men if you have braids and you have a beard and something. I think they actually, sometimes you don't even do that to be targeted.
No, you don't. Well, my problem with Benjamin would be that I reported this. I reported it. What he ended up doing, him and his department, they took initiative to say, hey, just write a letter they told Anthony Egan, just write a letter saying you didn't say this, a memorandum. He said, just write a little memorandum saying you didn't do that, you know, and then that was the end of it. They never talked to me again, never responded, nothing. You know what I mean? I sat in the county jail for 6 months. Okay. Now I heard Mildred the other night with you guys talking about how clean the jails was and how nice the programs is and everything. I don't know not one person that I've sat in there with. Unfortunately, I sat in there for this incident. But there's none of them programs exist. None of that stuff.
None of the programs.
Not a dime.
The jail's not clean.
Jails is filthy.
And they're not giving people their medicine.
Correct.
I'm gonna now I'm gonna get to that. Just give me 1 second, okay? All right. Now so what they did was they after I said that, you know, I did end up I know it didn't show on here, but the officer, after he threw my stuff in there, took my property and my legal papers with me, you know, then he moved, he started walking closer to me. You know what I'm saying? And then I swung the bag that I had with me. Right. You know, I swung and it struck. You know, so they took me to jail for aggravated class 1 aggravated battery, great bodily harm on a police deputy. Okay. Now, so of course I had to sit in jail for a while. And then I would say getting toward the trial, they, you know, this deputy, he is on what they call a Brady list.
What's that?
Okay, this is a list of deputies and other employees of government who are not truthful and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They like unable to testify and stuff like that. You know, and they got
should be fired.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, they got him on the Brady list. So now, if you could even tell me, how is it that I go from this class 1, 4 to 15 year felony, all the way to I walk right out the door, you know, no fines, no probation, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? After we get down to the video about what really happened, you know what I mean? So, you know, a misdemeanor. Now, I was placed in this jail. Okay. Now this is about the medication right here.
Okay.
I was placed in the jail. Now, I had a valid prescription for 2 medications that I take. Because I got epilepsy.
Some seizures.
Yes, yes. Now, I took 1 medication the whole time I was in there. It caused me to have a whole bunch of seizures. You want to see them? I don't really want to show them, but I got the videos. I forwarded the videos of my seizures while I was in there.
I was in there.
Yes.
So you got video in Dupage.
Yes, Dupage County Jail.
And they never gave you medicine.
Never gave it to me. I had my neurologist gave me the medication because the 1 medication didn't work. So he added another that worked perfect. And they took that one away because it cost a little bit, it cost a lot more than the other. You know, so therefore, at that point, I had, I made them aware of that in the courtroom with my judge and everybody. You know what I mean? I'm putting the emotions, you know, telling them I need the medication. If y'all just don't make me just sit here, you know what I'm saying, with this high bond, you know, I need the medication. You know what I mean?
They had you on a high bond.
Yes, they had me on the ferry. I have $100,000.
$100,000 for a person.
Yes.
For Deputy Evans.
Yes. So in the end, when I pled to the battery, The misdemeanor. They took it all the way down from the felony, always to the misdemeanor.
All right.
When I pled to the felony, I mean the misdemeanor, I had to, because I had to get out and get to my medication. I couldn't keep staying there and having seizures,
Yeah.
you know, so it was kind of under duress. You know, I gave it some thought for a few hours. I was like, I gotta get out of here before I have another seizure. Just let me go. You know, otherwise, I
Probably wouldn't be here because he's talking to us.
Yeah.
I was going to trial.
Exactly,
You know,
because you put a harm.
So do you have a lawsuit against them?
yes, yeah. Well, that's the one that's settled already.
So
No,
you said no. I'm saying so you sued Dupage.
yes, I sued you.
And
I sued Mendrick.
You sued him. So
Himself.
wait.
Okay,
So you sued DuPage County.
right.
You sued Mendrix.
Yes,
You sued the
Anthony Egan
Anthony Egan,
and the other guy.
and they settled the case.
Yes, for that, but not the medication. That's the one that's ongoing right now.
But you got the FOIA for that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna settle that too. But you have two you have one pending lawsuit and then a lawsuit that was settled with DuPage County.
Yes,
James Mendrix.
right.
But we don't know who George is.
We don't know.
Everybody, you don't know nothing about me, but you know he has
Dang.
affidavits that he's under oath speaking up about me. You know what I mean? But he don't know who I am. If somebody sue you, you know what I'm saying, you know who they are.
Right.
You don't know who they are. You know what I mean? So he is a liar. He is in support of racism. This is why I say that, because I believe that he would have listened when I told him that he called me a racial slur. You know, it wasn't like he was just going to admit to it. You know, he didn't care. His department didn't care.
Right.
None of them. They, you know, and then once I got out, before any lawsuit or anything, they wouldn't even speak with me. Robert Berlin, the state's attorney's office, they would not speak with me. They said they don't want to talk to me about none of it. It's all over, and that's it. You just, it's all over. That's what they thought, at least. You know what I mean?
So do you think that he'd be a good governor candidate?
I think he shouldn't even be a sheriff.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I think anybody who is under his wing shouldn't be employed with Dupage either. You know, so you know they got the same values he has.
So the programs are not there, like how they
I didn't see nothing of the sort while I was there. No, never heard of it. Never heard one person. You know, you got your trustees in there. That's about the most I heard of anything that came of what he was saying about these programs and cleanliness, and he can do the Pepsi challenge and all this.
No.
I did talk to a number of inmates coming out of the Dupage while we're out there protesting.
Yeah.
They all talked about how filthy it is.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
Very much so.
They all talked about how they didn't have adequate food. And it also, one gentleman told me that Mendrick, I guess, got them to be in some program, but they were forcing them to take medication that they didn't need or want to take. And they were forcing them to take medication. So I don't know, I didn't see any paperwork. I can speak on your case and his case. But that's what this gentleman mentioned. It's not optional. You're gonna force some people to take medication, but deny other people the medication saved their life.
Yeah, well, it's probably they probably give him the cut over there. But, you know, his wife is a nurse and everything.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
And can I say this too?
Yes.
The doctor that Sheriff Mendrick hired.
Oh, yeah, I doubt it.
She has been involved in more than 24 lawsuits against her for withholding inmates medication and stuff.
This is a doctor,
This is the doctor, yes,
a medical doctor.
yes, the medical
The
doctor.
inmate.
The same one that denied.
Was she the one who didn't give that lady her?
That's an
Yes, yes, she was,
Same way, same
Yeah.
person.
yes, same thing.
Dupage,
Uh,
11 million for that case.
No, she died.
She died.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his fault.
That's the one that he said that wasn't his fault. She decided to stop eating. And something else, he blames some other people.
Okay.
But he said her death wasn't his fault. And there was no remorse. No remorse. No, just it wasn't my fault, he said.
And this doctor,
What's the doctor name, you know?
her name is Dr. Alma Martijan.
Okay, what is that? She Indian or something?
Doctor, yes, yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
is.
that's, yeah, she did right on there. Now, what she tried to do is that because I had a valid prescription for both of my medications,
Mm-hmm.
she told the, well, in one of her affidavits, she said that we were told that by your Northwestern Medicine, neurology office, that you didn't have a prescription for it. You know, my neurology office tell them, listen, we haven't told you anything like that. We gave him the prescription for it. Where did you get that from? It was just a blatant blatant lie out the blue somewhere. You know, all to save money. He hired her, in my opinion, to save money. Like he was going through the budget and things of that nature. The other day when y'all was speaking with him, you know, that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
You know, in my case, it was they did not want to pay for the medication
And they want to pay for
that I
it.
needed.
Yeah, it's rather die.
Yeah. It's almost like attempted murder in a way.
You know,
You know, when you
Yeah.
have as many seizures as I did,
Yeah.
and they only
You got-
I
you
got
got
the videos too. You know what I'm saying? For some of the seizures I had in.
And this is where he did pass.
He has an
Yeah.
$80 million budget.
She has over a couple. She has a couple dozen lawsuits against her, and more than a few of them were for withholding inmates medication. You know,
It's a repeated pattern.
yes. You know,
Under Sheriff Mendry.
and then he said, I want to quote that. He said, even if you hate me, I will still help you. That's my job.
People die every other day. In ICU.
You know, if that were true, he would have even spoke with me. You know, if that was the case. You
Right.
know, he is in no way, you know, I would say somebody who can be trusted. You know, and the racism that is underneath. I understand what people can see on the surface. You know, it's not hard to see some people from seeing something like that. But under the surface, that absolutely is what it is. Him and the state's attorney as well, and some of the state's attorneys, the deputies,
Yeah.
the state's attorneys, the assistant state's attorneys, all of them. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yes.
The judge,
Yes. Yes.
It's like a bouquet.
it's underneath the surface. That's all. You know, the racism. You know, but it's there. You know, absolutely.
It's pretty blatant. It's not even.
No, it's
Very blatant.
absolutely.
They definitely
You know.
have like this mentality of slave owner mentality. They want to take your property, your freedom, your right to due process, as if we're not even human beings.
Freedom of speech.
They don't even acknowledge that we deserve to have our constitutional rights upheld.
At all.
So
Now, let me tell you, my case started in 2023, which I said over and over. I've told the story so many times. Started off, you know, I thought, okay, we're gonna follow the law and I'll see justice. It quickly turned into, okay, these people are committing RICO actions. The first judge, Kenton Scarn, colluded with my spouse, trying to take away my home, accepting fraudulent financial affidavits, all committing fraud. So I'm thinking, is this a joke? You know, how do you turn in fraudulent affidavits saying we have no assets and we just built this $3 million house, we have millions in assets? But the judge accepted it. And he's such a smart guy, which he brags about graduating from Northwestern. He's so smart, but you can't see that these affidavits are fraudulent. So then we get to judge number two. I filed for, to change judges. We get to judge number two. And things got even worse. This judge also accepted fraudulent financial affidavits. There were court orders in place to, put a hold on all of our assets and money, but my spouse continued to close accounts, turn in fraudulent affidavits. And for about a year, this judge allowed this nonsense. I'm sitting broke, no money, getting utilities turned off. There were times that I needed to have surgeries and I didn't have my insurance, which he was ordered to pay, but the judges wouldn't do anything about it. And so instead of protecting my assets and acknowledging my due process rights, this judge tried to also steal the assets in my home, trying to force me to sell my home, saying we couldn't afford it, but I'm showing you proof we can't afford it. So, I said, Bank of America statements don't lie, but my spouse is lying, and apparently the judges are lying too. So around Christmas time of 2024, the judge abruptly recused himself because he wouldn't enforce any court orders. So I get to judge number three, and the same thing. It's a pattern. I realized, okay, three judges, now one of them will enforce any of the court orders. All of them are accepting fraudulent affidavits. So this is definitely some RICO stuff, right? So after going and documenting what each judge is doing, they would just abruptly leave. So this judge abruptly left my case too after I started reporting on him. I get to judge number four. It's the same pattern again. She accepted fraudulent financial affidavits. She wouldn't uphold any of the court orders. And they're just moving this case along. Well, my husband has stolen all the money. In fact, he stopped coming to court. But I've got like bailiffs following me in the courtroom to intimidate me. I've got people videotaping me while on the witness stand to intimidate me. I have strangers coming up to me on the streets, circling me, telling me the judge wants your house sold. I know all about you, Jackie Sample. I know where you live, Jackie Sample. So this is so bizarre. So at this point, I'm reporting this to the FBI. I'm reporting it to James Mendrick's office. However, Sheriff Mendrick's office, they wouldn't even let me make a police report. It took a whole year going back and forth with them to even file a police report on the fraud and all the stuff happening in my case. So they finally took the police report just probably a few weeks ago for the first time. But now they said they won't take any more police reports from us. So back to judge number four. She did a fraudulent order trying to force me to turn over documents to my husband's attorneys, which had already left the case. So that's unlawful. And so I wrote her up and reported her, and she abruptly recused herself too. So that's judge number four. She recused herself.
Four judges.
Then I get to judge number five, Neil Cerny. Instead of investigating what's happening with the previous judges or even, upholding any of the court orders, this guy abruptly dismissed my divorce, forcing me to stay married to my spouse. He accepted fraudulent financial affidavits, as I had already reported on him. He wouldn't enforce any court orders, completely violating my due process, violating my Americans with Disability rights. All four judges have done that. So it's like a conspiracy with every judge. So judge number five is also judge number three. And he just dismissed my divorce to get me out of the courtroom. I forget the penal code for that, but there is a penal code, like indentured servitude or something. So he's basically making me a slave. I already knew they have a slave owner mentality because they treated me like that for 2.5 years. I told them I can't pay my utilities. Madison took all the money against the court orders. I don't have money for food. And the judge laughed at me. Madison didn't even have to come to court. So yeah, I filed a lawsuit in federal court against all four of the judges, which is now pending. But I've had so much retaliation. Speaking of Bob Bergen's office, this is the Dupage County State's Attorney's Office. These people sent me some threatening letters saying that they may take legal actions against me. for a water bill for $38. So I got multiple departments throughout DuPage County threatening me for a $38 water bill, right? Coming after me legally. The following month, I get another water bill. Now it's $5,500. So they're doing this to attach liens onto my property. This is how they're gonna steal assets from my property. They've been after my house from day one. We talk about Cook County steal property. DuPage has a history of also stealing property. I work with another advocate, Roy Johnson. They put his brother in a guardianship and took their property. Now they're coming after me, trying to take my property. Back in 2023, Judge James Arrell came up with a scheme with my attorney where they tried to put me in an unlawful guardianship. And thank God that my attorney didn't go through with it, but there's no just cause for me to be in a guardianship. That was a scheme to steal my property. But since then, I reported James Arrell for that. He was forced to retire, and I'm not sure if that was part of it, but he was forced to retire. But every judge I've encountered, they all have something to say about my house. They all want my house sold, they want it listed, they want the equity in my house. Just like some stranger came up to me on the street, circling me. I even have it on video. I just want some of that equity in your house. So it's a real thing. There's so much corruption in DuPage surrounding my case. And Sheriff Mendrick, let me address him. He sat here and said some nasty lies about me, saying that I wanted him to investigate in exchange for an endorsement from Flip Chicago Red. I made it very clear to James Mendrick. I'm not a member of Flip Chicago Red. I don't make decisions for Flip Chicago Red. But what does that have to do with him doing his job? Yeah, you should investigate crimes because there is a law, and he's actually in violation of multiple laws for not investigating a crime. James Mendrick has proof. He's got bank statements. He's got court records. He has all the proof he needs. It's time for him to investigate and get these judges prosecuted because they all need to go to jail. All 4 judges need to go to jail. My husband, Dr. Sample, needs to go to jail. Let me name their names. Judge Kenta Scarn, you need to go to jail. Judge James Arrell, although you were forced to retire, you need to go to jail. Judge Leo Sarney, you definitely need to go to jail. And Susan Alvarado, the jail cell is waiting on you too. All 4. So I'm going to keep reporting my story. I'm going to keep reporting it to the FBI until somebody investigates it, until somebody prosecutes these judges. And Bob Irving, he should be ashamed of himself. Yeah. His office gets upset because I go up there to report what's happening with the crimes in my case. And the same investigator, Nick Barrio, he has a pattern of that. And this was going on before I met both of you. Both of you had complaints against him for the same thing. So I went up there probably about a month or so ago to make a complaint. He was so angry because I'm up there to defend my rights and make a complaint. Never disrespected this man, never raised my voice. He constantly yelled at me. He didn't want to give me his name or badge number. And he ended up walking up on me and I thought he was going to hurt me. So I jumped back and I did see the video. I jumped back because I was in fear for my life. So I made a complaint and I filed that with the sheriff's office. So for Sheriff Mendrick to say, I got into it with the state's attorney's office, that's not getting into it when a grown man with a gun walk up on me. Well, I wouldn't call that getting into it. I would call that intimidation and harassment. That's right. And James Mendrick, he doesn't even have, the decency to say, this man intimidated this woman. And I do believe it's definitely racial. Oh, yeah. So he looks at me and see me jumping on the camera away from this man, and you call that I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it. Very offended by that comment. That's not getting into it. At all. Not at all. So James Mendrick should be ashamed of himself. Do I think he should run for county? No. Do I think he should be a sheriff? No, I think he should be in the jail cell along with the judges in the case. They have a history of protecting their own. They cover for themselves. They cover for the deputies. They cover for the judges. If you are a law official or any official in DuPage County, you can commit crimes all day long. Yeah. And James Mendrick is going to protect you. The judges are going to protect you. They have a clique. It's a money grab too. In my situation, I'm not sure how much money was paid out. There's bribery, corruption, judicial misconduct, and these judges have been getting away with it so far, but they're not going to get away with it forever because I'm going to make sure of that.
Well, I'm gonna sit over here real quick. Oh, well. All right, let's get over here. All right. Well, the corruption in the state of Illinois is bad, and one thing that's happening is that people are getting together. As you see, Dupage County came to Cook County, and were able to tell their side as well, because the issue that we have, and it's never going to change if we continue to, as long as I get what I can get, and it be done with it, and then we put these people in these elected official seats, and the cycle continues to happen. It needs to be a reform. My older sister was a federal police officer. My cousin was one of the superintendents of Chicago Police Department, Terry Hiller. They say he was trash too. But I also know some really good cops out there. I have a lot of people that are on CPD that I love. Sergeant Kima. Yeah, I love Shakima. That's a good friend of mine. She's a great cop. There's a lot of cops that are down at City Hall that make sure that we're protected when we're down there when they can. So I don't have an issue really with Snelling. But the issue is that there are also a lot of bad cops that people are taking up for. And this is not the time to do that. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to be a good public servant or you're not. And if you're going to be a bad public servant and going to continue to keep the corruption going, just you think you guys are going to do it on the red side, it's not going to happen. My issue with James Mendricks was I felt like he ghosted me when that situation happened in DC. I had a warrant for my arrest, and and then that week the $11 million lawsuit came out, and when my one of the girls in my group, Nicole, that does our newsletter, that was I think our second edition of the newsletter, and I reached out to Cindy Mendricks, which is his wife. And I text her and I said, hey, matter of fact, I'm gonna read it. Because I wanna, I'm very, very transparent. And all right. So the day that she came was March 2nd. That was the red out. And she came, she sent me this documentary, Midget for Grub. I gave all the emails the day that everybody was there. I sent her the one I did with me being arrested, and I said, hey, Miss Mendrick, I want to check on two things. Would Sheriff Mendrick be open to giving a statement about his potential run for governor? Also, if he's willing, would he like to address the recent lawsuit for transparency, similar to how I publicly spoke about my own arrest at the White House during the Black History event? It's for our Chicago Flips Red newsletter. Then did you ever see the message stating that Sheriff Mendrick would be speaking at Trump Tower and that they wanted us to be involved, but she wasn't sure about the details? Never heard from him. Didn't hear from him until, obviously, President Trump, he spoke about us on TV.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everybody started flooding to us or ready to work with us and things like that. So I'm a person that goes by content. The content of the character. I'm also I am very independent, and I tell people this all the time. Don't get it, mistaken with the political parties, red or blue. I independently align myself with the Republican Party due to the policies and me being an entrepreneur and me being conservative and me being about family and less about sexual orientations and illegal immigrations and weird ideologies and stuff like that. That's not what I'm on. What I do in my personal space is what I do in my personal space. And the Democratic Party has laid it all out here that it's supposed to try to normalize things. That's why your son is over sexualized at the age that he is, because the Democratic Party pushes this and wants this. This is some weird type of
Movement.
yeah, movement, and they're doing it to our kids at a young age. So that's why I'm very adamant about him getting his sealed and all that things, because at the end, kids are gonna be kids.
Yeah.
But I'm independent. I'm super independent, and I am going to push the people who I feel like deserve to be in these seats. And
Yeah.
right now, I don't see no governor that's worth being in these seats.
Oh,
Pritzker definitely not going to be in there, but I'm not going to replace him
right.
with someone who's just as bad as him.
That's it.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Or worse. So it's a no for me. So I'm just go ahead and throw that out there. That's it. You Menders, you would have to legit go to Kwame Raoul with all of us and anybody else that has issues, Miss Jackie. Sit down and have a meeting and let us talk to the Attorney General on top of Andrew Boisterous that's over there, that Pam Bondi in Northern District, both of them to talk about all the corruption that myself, Ms. Jessica is dealing with, and Dupage County is dealing with, and anybody else that feels like they cannot get any justice in their counties or in the city in the state of Illinois. So that's it. The minute you cannot do that, then Chicago feels red. It's a no, and that's it. That's my final answer. So yes.
Yeah.
If any candidate out there is willing to do what Zoe just mentioned,
Yeah.
Please send her a message.
Yeah.
Darren Bailey, I've heard good things about him. I wonder if he would be willing to sit down and, get us a meeting with these, law officials. Because these crimes gotta be investigated.
Yeah, they.
Not
Yeah.
any candidates coming to the table saying they're about to crack down on judicial crime or people's property being stolen. I'm not hearing that. We can't even get a meeting with Kwame Raoul. His office won't even investigate crime. We
Right.
can't even get the FBI to investigate the crime.
Yeah.
They just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
So we need a candidate.
I mean, the corruption is so bad. Literally, Danielle got hit. Everybody see it. She got hit, attacked, assaulted. And the judge decided to side with this person because I called Jesse Jackson what he has always been, and we're Trump supporters.
That's
That should have nothing to do with a video of him attacking Danielle, but also our state's attorney that
Yes.
we had.
Yes.
Prosecution, he was terrible. And Eileen O'Brien, I don't know where you're at, but your state's attorney, he didn't FOIA no police footage, any of these things. It was already planned because he probably is not a Trump supporter either.
Yeah.
And so you're dealing with a white liberal, and then Birch, who is always been a con artist, he put a charge on my mom.
And she won't even investigate judges.
Who?
Birch.
Oh yeah, it's Birch. They all work
She did
together.
not even look at the misconduct of judges.
Yeah, so they really all need to be removed.
Responsibility too.
Yeah, nothing's going to change, and that's why I call on Donald Trump, because they honestly trying to put Donald Trump all the way down in jail, because he always talked about the corruptness in the judicial system. Ms. Jackson talks about the corruption in the judicial system. So until we get a forensic audit, because he also said he has a great $80 million budget in Dupage County, and you're saying that they ain't got no
none of that stuff.
program, none of that stuff. So he got a balanced budget too, just like
Those were lies.
so he got a balanced budget, just like Tony, $1 Million Tony got a balanced budget, even though Palatine and Lake, was it Palatine and Lake County school districts are borrowing money from banks because they're not getting that property tax money out here with their balanced budget. So yes, there's a lot of corruption going on. There's a lot of stealing going on, and it's just and no one cares because everybody's corrupt. Everybody telling them they don't care. There's no law and order. It's just lawless out this month. It's just lawless. So we need the feds.
Yeah.
We need the feds. So, and I know that the feds are coming. But the more that it's going to get bigger. The group is going to get big. It's really big for real, for real. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because people are starting to be tired.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And everybody can't be lying.
Yeah.
All of you guys didn't know each other.
No, not at all.
We found each other because of what's happening in Dupage.
Me and Miss Jackson didn't know each other. Me and Miss Jackson didn't know each other. Me and Danielle didn't know each other. People were tired. So just letting you know that. And that's a wrap. So yeah, it's a no for me. And
No for me.
I know it's a no for me.
absolutely not. All right. Well, thank you for the 670 people watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and share this with Sheriff Mendrick. But that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for coming from Dupage County on Monday, short notice. And I'm also going to put the link in when they were all at Cook County,
Yes.
so you guys can see, because it's them as well. But there's also a couple of other people that's down there. Are they for Dupage?
Some are not.
Okay, the John.
I think he is.
John, yeah, so it's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's a bunch. So I'm gonna put that link as well. And this, so you can just see like this is a problem and it needs to be solved. And right now, it looks like no one wants to solve it. So until we find someone to solve it, I'm probably gonna have to solve it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, because I don't see any governor candidate that's willing to fight the corruption.
Yes.
And if you're not willing to fight the corruption, then we always have time for a write-in.
That's right. Thank you so much, Chicago.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Which is, I am not gonna stop until these people are locked up.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yes, most definitely.
Ms. Jackson said, hang on. Decades and decades of public corruption. And that's what always, Ms. Jackson always talks about, the public corruption and the white collar crime.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
All right, y'all.
I'm not gonna stop. She's not gonna stop. It's the whole thing of us not
Gang.
until these people are.
But you're a Capricorn. You're together. You definitely never gonna stop. When you were-
Taurus.
Oh, yeah, you definitely never gonna stop. Oh, yeah, y'all ain't that. Yeah, man, that's up there, Aquarius. So, yeah, we ain't shit. Anybody got time?
I would like to say just get your transcripts.
Transcripts. It's just always talk about the
Yes.
transcripts. So, yeah.
Transcripts.
Keep everything.
Yes.
Don't lose anything.
Nothing. Exactly.
All right. All hands on deck.
That's it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.